So I'm going to stop my music. I just realized I was still playing some Vivaldi in the background. We are going to look at 7 different images that are quotes. Ooh, good, we've got Trista too. And I would love if just a different person would read each of the quotes out loud for the rest of the team in case you can't quite see the screen well. And at the end, what you're going to do is pick out which of those 7 was most impactful. Hey, Trista. So again, we'll read through. You guys can pick one to read off, and as we go through, you can do a screenshot if you want so that you remember which one specifically stuck out to you. And the last slide has all 7 of them again. So here is our first slide. And if somebody can read it all right, I would love for you to unmute yourself and read it out.
I know you have big dreams for yourself, but don't forget to appreciate how far you've come already. Remember the days you prayed for the things you have now.
Excellent. Thank you, Marie. So that's our first one. And our second one, who will read this one?
Whenever you find yourself doubting how far you can go, just remember how far you have come. Remember everything you have faced, all the battles you have won, and all the fears you have overcome.
Excellent. Thank you, Trista. Okay, next one. Did I hear Kirsten was willing to read?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Excellent. Sorry, this one's maybe harder to read.
Oh, no, it's good. Sad and exhausted. Repair with self-care. Treat yourself the way you would treat a sad friend in need. Be kind. Naps, chocolate, baths, cocktails, whatever relieves your funk or puts a spring back in your step and a giggle in your wriggle.
Thank you, Kirsten. Okay, next one. And you don't have to read the small stuff, just the stuff at the top.
I can do it, Jen.
Excellent. Thank you, Erica.
Our greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, we've got 3 more.
I got it. Become your best coach instead of your worst critic.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophie. It looks like we've got almost everybody. Brad, would you be willing to read this one?
Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can.
Excellent. Thank you. And then Todd, I'm going to put you on the spot for this last one if you can.
If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete.
Excellent. Thank you. So hopefully those all had some meaning for you. I know they did for me. And here they are small. But I'd just like you to share out what was most impactful for you as of right now. What really sang out to you? I'll say that the become your best coach instead of your worst critic was one that I had by like on the back of my screen as well as the back of my screen for a whole 1.5 years, and it still is one that I need to remind myself about.
I really like the one about, I think that Tristan, or that you wrote, Tristan, or read, because I think it's a lot harder to treat ourselves the way we treat others. And I remember somebody one time saying, would you say the things that you say to yourself to your daughter? And I wouldn't. And so that really resonated with me, and just being kinder to and more gentle to ourselves.
I love that, Erica, that addition of, would you say that to your daughter? Oh, chills. Love it.
I think I would say that I really liked the one I read because that resonates for me for sure lately. I've been feeling really exhausted, but also feeling like, in fact, yesterday I wrote an email late in the day to somebody and said something about hoping to get a spring back in my step. So that really resonated. And I ate chocolate ice cream out of the tub yesterday also. So I feel like I'm kind of up against like doing some self-care just to kind of like, get stuff reflect on and hold up and be better and know that I'm not maybe at my best, but that's okay. And just to keep plugging ahead. I think also just the other one that kind of spoke to me was remembering when I feel doubtful that I can get through what I need to do, remembering that I've faced battles and have overcome, fear and doubt before, and just kind of holding on to those as we usually come out the other side, maybe a little different, but we do it. So
Love it. And I have my stack of chocolate wrappers just over there that I just ate. So I hear the ice cream. That sounds
I mean,
amazing.
I haven't done that in like, I don't know, maybe like years, but like I literally took it out of the freezer at like 5:30. We hadn't even had dinner. My husband was like, "Are you serious right now?" I'm like, "I am.
Yes.
This
Good
is
for you.
happening."
Good for you. Uh,
I would say the little green one, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. I think that just goes back to the whole, as I say, the age old, but it's only as old as airplanes. The put your mask on before you put someone else's mask on kind of thing. And I mean, it's such a simple, like, well, duh, like I can't help that person if I can't breathe. So I think it's just the same here. And it is really easy to just kind of go, well, okay, I got this figured out and this figured out for these people, but like, I'm a hot mess. So don't forget about yourself, kind of.
Yep. Absolutely. We'll take a few. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say we'll take a few more minutes and we can share if you want, and you don't have to if you don't need to. No worries. But Brad, sorry.
No, it's okay. I really like Erica's bringing it back to what you say to kids too. And I think these lessons are things that it's like we learn them hopefully as little kids, but then it's throughout your life, you continue to have these. And I think it's also part of, every time you try something new, inherently it's going to be, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to trip up and you're going to feel that lack of confidence, I think. And that's why I think it's really important to keep doing that throughout your career as a teacher, to continue to be putting yourself in the place of what kids are going through. I mean, I've just noticed that in myself, doing this administrative license and like finding moments of insecurity and moments of, wow, and I thought that I thought I figured it out, and I was a confident person or whatever, but it's like, because it's something new, you're inherently not going to have that confidence. And then, the flip side of being compassionate to yourself and saying, well, I was just trying something new and I made a mistake. And so.
So true.
I would say the one I read, probably the best coach instead of worst critic, just because I think we all tend to be like the hardest on ourselves, especially in times like this where we're kind of pushed out of our comfort zones, and reminding ourselves that we're all just doing our best and kind of like coaching ourselves instead of being so hard on ourselves. So, yeah.
So true. Well, thank you all for grounding in with me here. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're thinking about compassion today, and I really liked this analogy. So compassion is like empathy in action. So taking it that extra step, so noticing that yourself or someone else is struggling with something, and then going forward and doing something to help them, which might just be saying, hey, I noticed that you don't seem like yourself today. What's going on? Something like that. And compassion, I love the science of the brain, because the compassion is good for your health. There's correlations for being good for your health. It'll decrease your heart rate. It'll decrease the stress hormones that we're all creating a ton of right now. And that increases the immune response, which we need. Yay, COVID, right? Compassion also helps us to collaborate effectively with one another. as we're not only making connections with people better, we're also increasing the oxytocin in our brains. And so we're feeling more connected to people just because of that chemical release. It helps us to deal with difficult people, and we'll probably get to one activity today where we can think about how that happens. And it helps us to strengthen community. And if you can think of suffering with is actually where the word compassion comes from. So we're all suffering with each other here. We're trying to teach during a pandemic. I think we can hold each other in compassion and feel better about what we're doing and other people are doing because we're all suffering with one another. So taking a self-compassion break, and I'm going to share this with you as a handout as well later on when I'm sending out reminders to everybody. But basically, anytime you are feeling overwhelmed, it's good to take a break and recognize that what you're feeling is normal. So taking that self-compassion break, identify without judgment what it is that is wrong. So quite often, mine is that middle one there. This hurts. I hurt a lot. So just taking a moment to breathe, identify that what's wrong is that I hurt. And then taking some time to remember that you're not alone. So again, that self-compassion being about commiserating. Suffering as a part of life is something you could think about. We all struggle in our lives. You could think of someone in particular that, like I think about the other people that I'm really close with that have rheumatoid arthritis as well. And so I think about them to remember that I'm not alone in this. And then say something to yourself that's kind to yourself. So what you would have heard if you could have heard the meditation was things like that last statement there of, may I give myself compassion. So it's just a good habit in your life to stop, recognize, acknowledge, remember that it's not just you, and remind yourself to be your best coach, that it is you.
May I chime in and share something on this theme?
I would love that.
I in the past, I've done some meditations where the teacher actually asked us to place a hand on ourselves. You know how we often will touch other people when they are hurting. You know, it's a soothing thing for us to do that, to comfort other people, but it's so rarely that we would put our hand on our own heart or on our own neck or on our own eyes if you have a headache, and just actually kind of put a kind touch on yourself and just give a moment of self-compassion that way. And it sounded super duper hokey when she told me, but when I did it, I was like, oh, that kind of feels nice.
Again, brain chemistry works that way. I love it, Marie. Thank you for sharing. Okay. We're going to pause for a few technical pieces that I wanted to make sure that we get through. PDP mid-year reflection. Does everybody know how to get to that? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So that one's done. Relicensure. Some of you are up for relicensure. Woo woo. So CEUs for professional development, staff, probationary meetings, all of that sort of thing that are district-led, get input by the district. Everything that you attend here with me, like these meetings, go in at the end of the semester, because then I can do a whole bunch of them in at once. So those will be, I will begin with those on Monday of next week, getting those all input. So if you're wondering where your CEUs are for the staff meetings that you've attended this year or anything like that, they are coming. and you need 125 hours for relicensure, and there's 8 requirements that are listed on the 8 bullet points to the left. The 8th one is one that is not something you actually have to attend. It's not like an hour of number 8. It's what you do when you submit your work is you reflect on what you've been doing from all of those different trainings that you'd attended. It doesn't have to be very long, but that takes care of number 8. The 1 through 7, if you were with us last year, we had hours for most of them, depending on, because it was all about choice, it was depending on which professional developments you attended. This year, our staff meetings, because they have been focused almost primarily on how do we teach during a pandemic, most of our stuff falls under number 7, cultural competency, but not much elsewhere yet for the year. So just know that we are aware of these standards, and we'll try to make sure that we're fitting them in wherever possible.
Jenny, can I ask what might be a stupid question? Where do I find how many hours I have? Is there like a link to that?
That is in, okay. They were going to move it over to the same system that the Perform software is. I don't know if they've done that yet or not. I still have to type them in on the old system from last year.
Do you know who the best person to ask would be? Just because I've been around now, I haven't been in one spot for.
Yeah, I would say, I think Manuel Bandra.
Yeah, I'll email him. I worked with him this summer. Yeah, okay.
Perfect. I think he would probably have the best answers for you.
Thank you. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, no, great question. And then are there any grading or other wrapping up the semester questions that you guys have?
Sorry, I have another one.
Yeah,
go ahead, Kelly.
No, go ahead.
I just don't, I haven't been here in a while where we had remember we had to print out our final grade, bring them down to Carol Johnson.
Yeah.
So wondering, how do we have to finalize the grades at all, or?
I do actually. So I have not done mine yet.
Sorry, it's all technical stuff that I don't know
anymore. No, that's what part of this is for. So that's a good thing.
So no one ever told me any of this either. So who knows if any of my students have ever gotten a final grade.
Oh no.
Quite literally, Callie had to teach me how Schoology worked last year. And Power.
Bobby Otto taught me about Schoology too.
Yeah, right. Just whoever's nearby and you panic.
Is that email, was her email recent? Did I just miss it?
It was recent. I think it was yesterday.
And
it tells you what to do. It's fairly easy, but it's it's a little bit hard to find at first, but once you do it, you'll.
Yeah. And remembering from semester to semester is sometimes difficult too. Like right now, I can click through a whole bunch of them to try to remind myself, or I could ask Callie, which one was it under? Is it under?
Yeah, that's a really great question.
Okay.
Let me look at the email.
Okay.
I don't think I got it. Teresa sent it?
Yeah, Teresa. Here, I'll put it in the chat, what she said.
Okay, great. Because I just searched my email and I don't see one.
I don't have it either. I also don't get certain emails though. I'm not on some list, but I'm on.
It went to all high, but yeah, that took me a while to get on that list too. I hear sometimes it's okay. So you go to.
Thank you. Grading. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's where I was. And then comment. I was close.
Comment verification.
There we go. And then final grade status.
That's it. Yeah.
And then you can click there and then there, which I'm not going to do because I am not complete. But yay! Great question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Callie, for the help.
Bounce off that. I just want to verify.
Yeah.
for P's and NC's,
Yes.
we put those in. We override it and we put those in, correct?
Correct.
Even if
Correct.
it's like, if it's an F, we change it to an NC,
Yep.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just
Do
wanted
we
to-
Yep.
know yet who's requested P's? That's neat.
I don't.
Not yet, but I was just like, for anyone who for sure has a D, you know.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we
For-
should be. Oh, go ahead, Sophie.
For students that have P's, yeah, I was gonna say, I know the counselors like had changes up until yesterday, and then grades they're due on the 3rd, right? Are we gonna have to
Yeah.
override all of the students with a P, and then like at what point are we gonna do that? Like, if we get, I don't know, like when, like, I guess like when are we gonna know? Yeah.
I was thinking that we were supposed to know this morning who were our kids going past no credit. I would say if you've got any kids that are at a D, I would just change them to P's right away, because there are no D's this year. So if they've got a D, change them to a P. And then same with F's, you can change those to a no credit right away, an NC. And then hopefully there won't really be anybody that's at like a C that you have to go back and change to a P or anything like that. So I would say you
So-
can do it now.
Should we finalize our grades today, or should we wait then?
I would probably wait,
Okay.
just
you.
because I wouldn't want to have to go back, submit forms, and just in case there is somebody that changes. Great question, Sophie. Thank you.
So you say do everything except the last finalization step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Nice. Good thinking, Erica. Yay, screenshotting. Awesome. Any other logistical questions or technical questions?
I would just like to ask, I never saw like a PDP done, and I'm kind of worried, like, I mean, it's sort of like a reflective piece, obviously by default, but yet like, I just kind of wonder if this is something like who looks at this and like how much, I mean, like how much time, I don't know if I did it exactly the way, or if there's a way that we're supposed to be doing it up to par. And I'm just wondering, like, can you just, I'm sure it's fine. I spent some time on it and I tried to answer every question, but it was just, I mean, I don't know, I feel like nobody ever like went over how to do those. So just do it intuitively and then hope it was okay.
Such great questions. I've never seen one except in my role as a building instructional leader many years ago. And I'm sure Erica has seen a million of them as equity coach for so long. The equity coaches are the ones who are utilizing it the most, and hopefully chatting about it with you in your pre and post meetings, just to see how things are going.
Okay.
Really, if you're answering all of the questions, that's the main thing for any district level concerns. And your equity coach would tell you if they had any concerns.
Okay.
Erica,
Okay.
do you have anything to add?
I would just say, yeah, they're really there to be a guide. I mean, I even know that Peter with me and my goal this year was like, can you tell me more about that? So I think you just do it and then they should come back and guide you through it, and
Yeah.
you can
Oh.
always go back and adjust it. So
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. That helps. I just wondered, how lengthy and
Yeah.
but I'm
That's-
sure.
Is it due on the 31st? Is that right?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
which I realized was Sunday yesterday, so I'm a little stressed.
Well, it's like, I'm going to be, when have I not been totally honest? It's like my lowest priority right now. Like, kids are turning in shit that I'm like, "Geez, Lord." So that is just sort of like that to me. They're in front of me, like that's how I feel. The kids are in front of me and that's way over there. So that's why it's sort of like, it's hard to put too much. I only have so much thought power left.
Yep.
So it's hard to.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how it felt.
And I am sure that your equity coach would be like, It's okay. Let's work on it, and I would not be worried. Yeah, great questions, guys. We are not going to do this right now, but if you want to work on building compassion with others, this is a good kind of meditation to do, and it is going to be in the handout that I send you. And because I wanted to get you guys all off sooner rather than later, this is my last thing. So February, we're looking at reflections and challenges, seeing challenges as learning opportunities. March is about resilience through creation. April is dealing with change, and May is celebration and appreciation. So if you want to help in planning any of those, if you want to take a leadership role, I'd love to have you. Just let me know. Otherwise, I want you guys to get off and have compassion for yourself. You're all amazing, and you have been doing so much hard work this year. Give yourself time to relax this weekend. Talk yourself up, because you all deserve it. You've done such a great job. So pat yourself on the back. Say, I made a difference, because I know you all have with your students. And take some deep breaths. Guys have survived a semester in a pandemic. Oh, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank
Thank you, Jenny. Thanks for holding the space for us.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thank
Sorry
you.
the meditation didn't work. Thank you.
You affirm me in how I teach some days when I can't. When things don't-
Right?
Did on purpose. We appreciate
Can you forget to share your screen? You're talking.
Yeah.
Yep.
No one told me that you can't see this.
Yep. When
Thanks,
I had
Jenny.
the chat covered, that was the hard part. So I had no idea that nobody could hear me until Brad unmuted. So thank you for that.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank
No
you, Callie.
Thanks.
That was great, Jenny.
Thank you,
Jen.
Kirsten. Thank you,
Yeah,
Brad.
take care.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.